Hey y'all, it's my review for the Real Housewives of New York, episode 5. So we left off from the last episode of Brynn telling her story to the other ladies. There's not a dry eye in the room as she's continuing. Basically, we get the gist that she had a terrible childhood. She doesn't go into specifics of what happened, even though we could probably put two and two together of the relationship that Brynn's parents had that was not good for an environment for children. Anywho, she said that her grandmother adopted her. Later in life, she got in contact with her dad, and they had some sort of relationship as he was dying with cancer. She would see him every weekend. She actually forgave him. And then he died in the month of November, which is why she's triggered about celebrating a holiday. We cut to a few of the other ladies' confessionals, and they're just really glad that Brynn opened up to them. And I guess some of them are just really shocked that she has a story like this because initially, you just see a fun, vibrant redhead who you'd probably think didn't have a tumultuous childhood. I'm just loving these stories on New York. I know the ratings isn't matching my interests, but I'm in for the long haul, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna get another season with these ladies. Later in the dinner, Jessel lets the ladies know that she's having a charity event in her home. She hopes all the ladies can make it. Jenna says, well, I don't think I can make it. I think I have something to do. And then they ask her, well, what do you have to do? And she's like, well, I don't really remember, but I just can't come. Oh, Jenna. The topic then changes when Sai brings up that she hopes everyone's fed so they don't talk shit about her later. Erin's like, well, imagine that. Lucky you. And we get the flashbacks of all of them complaining. Well, mostly Sai. But then Erin passive-aggressively brings up cackling hags at the table, with Jessel sitting right next to her, fixing her hair. That was mean. And Jessel's like, it was a joke. And then Erin's like, well, it wasn't funny. I just hate when people present their grievances like that. Just say, well, Jessel, I heard you called us cackling hags, and I didn't like that. But don't come to me in like oh, cackling hags, that was mean, wasn't it? Y'all know what I mean? Like, I don't like when people approach me like that with a problem they have with me. Jessel then leads into the, it's a British humor excuse, darling. We use hag all the time there. Well, here in the US, hag is a little bit more of an insult than it is in the UK. Much like, what y'all call, well, I can't use the word, but what y'all call cigarettes in the UK, you can't just be using that term all willy-nilly here. But on the flip side, I do think Erin's being a little bit sensitive to the phrase. Like, she didn't call you cackling see you next Tuesdays. She said hag. We cut to Erin's confessional, and it seems like Jessel has a lot of strikes with her. And she's noticing a pattern about how she says a lot of things without thinking about the repercussions and how that makes people feel around her. Jessel's now explaining herself and why she said cackling hag. She's giving a lot of excuses at the table, but Erin is just not letting her foot off her neck. Well, why didn't you tell us something? Damn, Erin, okay, relax. I don't know what Jessel's actual friend group looks like, but it seems like she's used to being around yes people and not being called out for things that she says. I mean, even being around her husband, she be saying some wild stuff and he don't even say anything to her. So of course, being in this situation, she's gonna be called out way more. I hope she's ready for that. Oh, and here go Brynn trying to hold Jessel accountable. Yeah, you were talking about your kids, but you went out that night. So I'm not sure if it's just you wanted to go home. You just didn't want to be at Erin's. Damn. I mean, Jessel, you on an island right now, girl. Jessel then says it was a work event, and then Erin's like, oh, you're working now? I didn't know that. I didn't see it as shade, but Jessel definitely saw it as that. Jessel took it as, I mean, I work. And she might as well just said that. I work. To be fair, I just think Erin thought that she was still on maternity leave. I'm sure she doesn't think that Jessel is just a housewife. Damn, and the topic is still Jessel right now as Brynn asked her, when was the last time you came? Really? Do they have that relationship? Could you imagine somebody just asking you that? I would be like, excuse me, Jessel, you should have never told these women your business. But she does give the group an update. She has still not had sex with her husband. I don't get it. I really don't. They need to stop giving her a hard time. Let her F her husband on her own time. They're not suggesting hand jobs, blow jobs. Apparently hand jobs aren't in. I mean, I could see that for straight people, but I don't mind a good HJ or BJ. Look, I mean, I love a good RJ too. I can't believe I said that. I might take that out. So the dinner scene is over with, but before we get to the commercial break, I see that they show a PSA for a suicide prevention hotline. At first I was confused. I was like, wait a minute, was that talked about? And then I had to think about it, and I was like, oh, Bryn did say that when she was really young, she tried to drink a whole bottle of Dimetapp so she could go to sleep. I was really confused at first. So next scene we're with Sai, she's with some of her employees, and we just get a background of how she got into the fashion industry. Like what she does, I believe she's like almost like a fashion influencer. Like what, what's that girl name on Married to Medicine? Oh my God, how did I forget her name? But she does the same thing, but Sai does it on a much bigger level than she does. Right now we see her unboxing all her luxury items that she's received from many different fashion brands. I like that Versace robe, Sai. I wish it was black and had C. Diggy on the back of it. Yes, Sai, we get it. What you do is a job. Me, as a content creator, I have never contested that. Next scene, we're with Jessel and Aaron getting coffee. This was Jessel's idea to meet, so Aaron is wondering, what does she have to talk to her about? The energy between these two right now, it's giving frenemy. Side note, Jessel just seems like someone that's a nightmare to wait on. So they're just having a conversation about the neighborhood, and Jessel has the nerve to say that Tribeca is an up-and-coming neighborhood. Girl, how long have you been in New York? Are you a New Yorker? I feel like I've been in New York longer than she has. I hope she has not been in New York for more than 2 years. Because her telling that to a real estate agent, oh yeah, Aaron is going off in her confessional and I'll allow it. Tribeca is up and coming. If you tell that to any New Yorker, they will laugh in your face. I might have to watch What Happens Live and see what she has to say to this. Anyway, Jessel tells Aaron the reason why she wanted to meet was because she felt a little coldness coming from her at the Bryn's giving 2 days ago. Oof. Aaron tells her everything's fine. I just think we're two very different people and I don't understand you sometimes the way you are. And it makes me uncomfortable. You can cut the tension with a knife right now. Again, I don't understand the way you are, and that makes me uncomfortable. I'd be ready to fight. Erin then clarifies herself and says, well, sometimes you're smiling and happy when you really aren't, or you're being very positive, but then actually you're really upset. Reading between the lines of that, she's calling her a fake bitch. Now, I do agree with Erin on this part. She tells her that I think you're used to being treated a certain way, like being catered to, because just the way she speaks to people sometimes is crazy. Jessel then tells her, oh, like a princess? Now, those are your words, Jessel, not Erin's. And if the glass shoe fits, I mean, it is what it is. This is such a passive-aggressive argument. Like, Jessel is still, like, going back and forth with her with a smile on her face. So then Jessel gets on Erin for the comment she said, oh, you're working again? And she said, you know what? I'm really in a place where I support women. And Erin catches that shade immediately. She's like, oh, you saying I don't support women now? Well, so much for a pleasant conversation. Erin basically says, don't try that with me, bitch. I support women. Now, she didn't say it like that, but that's how she meant it. Oh, Lord. And here she go, putting down the immigrant card like a draw 4 in a game of Uno. We get it. We get it. How dare you say that I'm used to being catered to? I don't think that had nothing to do with it. It's just the way you speak to people. It's like you're used to getting your way all the time. I'd love to know whose side y'all on for this conversation. I really don't think Erin did anything wrong, but Jessel needs to take a little bit of accountability for something. Like, Erin isn't the only one complaining about how you speak to people. So they politely, as well as passive-aggressively, end this conversation. Hopefully they're going to move forward as friends, but we shall see. But Erin does confirm that she'll be going to Jessel's event coming up. Damn, that was so awkward as they left the coffee shop. I'm not sure if she expected to hug her or whatever, but Jessel went to like a straight beeline out the door, and Erin's just standing there like, okay. I think they got nothing accomplished with this meetup. So next scene, we're at Jenna's fabulous apartment as she's being visited by a friend. We see that amazing closet she has again, and she has an elevator in her apartment going to her storage room, and just all the privilege of having so many designer clothing that you just have to give it away. Oh, my bad. So actually, she does sell some of her clothing items. And then we see all these past photos of her at the Met Gala. Like, Jenna was that girl. Hell, she probably still is. So basically, the gist of this scene is she's going through her archive and her friend is telling her whether she should keep it or sell it. Oh, well, I wore this when I met the Obamas for the first time. Excuse me. I also love how humble Jenna is because she has some serious bragging rights. Like, I think Sai brags more than her, but then again, Sai is new money. Next scene, we're with Sai and Bryn, and they're also meeting at a coffee shop, but in this instance, they actually like each other and they're friends. For now, at least. Now, Bryn, this might be a little messy. She said she talked to Jessel, and I'm guessing Jessel was venting to her about meeting with Aaron. So then afterward, Bryn calls Aaron and says, oh, well, can you meet us for a kiki, wherever you are? So she could probably carry that bone to Aaron. So Aaron arrives, and it looks like she can't wait to let them know what happened between her and Jessel. So first they get to laughing at Jessel about her Tribeca comment. They are really having the key at Jessel's expense. Damn. Brendan carries the bone to Aaron that Jessel says she wants everyone to stop talking about the Hamptons as if she's getting attacked. And then they all chime in on how, she's sheltered, she's a princess, she takes no accountability. They're all in agreement of that. They basically want some accountability out of her and maybe an apology, and they all can finally move on. Well, don't hold your breath if you're expecting that from Jessel. So then it comes up, is Aaron still going to Jessel's event? And it looks like Aaron's just gonna go out of spite, just because she told her, insinuated that she doesn't support women. So next scene is the night of Jessel's charity event. We see her talking to her husband any kind of way again. She's going through the ladies who's going and who's not going, and she says Jenna has some event at her place. So then, meanwhile, we're at Jenna's place, and we see that it's Christmas time, and she has basically her family over as they're trimming the tree. Now, I thought this was a fine excuse for her missing Jessel's event, but apparently it wasn't for the other ladies. Side note, seeing what Jenna wears on the daily, I see why she's selling so many of her designer clothing items, because mostly all she wears is menswear and jumpsuits. So we're back at Jessel's event, and Sai's the first one to arrive. She looks great, bitch knows how to dress. But as soon as she sees Jessel, she's like, oh, well, I heard you talk to Aaron. What happened with that? And she was talking shit about her amongst the other ladies. Jessel basically says that she was offended that it was insinuated that she was a princess and needs to be catered to because, she started out with nothing as well. And then Sai says, well, you do seem like you're from old money, or maybe it's the English accent. And then we cut to Jessel's confessional, and she's like, why are these ladies judging me on how I look and talk? Isn't that illegal in America? The irony, though, because that's how they do it in America, actually. But anyway, Sai says you need to not be so offended by that. If someone said that I was from old money, I'd be like, haha, cheers, darling. And I agree, there's worse things Aaron could have said, and she didn't. So then we see Uba and Bryn arrive, and Bryn, I don't know what's going on with your hair, but it looked like you just had sex before you came to this party. Also, why is Bryn trying to convince us that she knows how to play chess? Girl, you are interested enough, it is okay. Wow, and in this flashback, she lost the game in less than 5 minutes. Find another hobby, sweetie. So some time passed by, and there's a lot of people in Jessel's house. It's pretty huge, by the way. She has a nice place. Only 4 of the ladies are there. Jenna's staying home. Aaron isn't there yet. But the ladies are wondering where Jenna is. And Jessel's like, well, she didn't come. So they decide to FaceTime her as she's trimming the tree with her family. So after they get off FaceTime with her, Bryn immediately says, well, I thought she was at an event. Bryn is a shit starter, by the way. It doesn't matter. Once y'all saw that what she was doing, that's the reason why she didn't go to Jessel's event. Hell, why does Bryn care? Because they were just talking shit about Jessel in the last scene, and now they're sitting in her house, all in her face. So then we see Aaron finally arrives, and Jessel, she's waving the white flag now, and it looks like she actually gives Aaron an apology because she wants to move forward. Hopefully that's enough for Aaron. So it looks like they squashed their beef. Aaron says in her confessional that she doesn't hold grudges. That's like a top 5 phrase in the Housewives lexicon. It really is. I don't hold grudges. And then 2 episodes later, they're still mad at the person they're beefing with. So then a little later, Aaron invites all the ladies to her anniversary party coming up. We cut to Sai's confessional and she's like, I hope there's going to be food there because right now she has an F on hosting. Jessel joins the ladies, and I think the topic is back on Jenna, and they're saying about the event that she claimed that she had. I'm like, they need to get over it. And then Bryn had the nerve to say Jenna lying, L-I-E. I'm like, girl, mind your business. Like, she's with her family, get over it. And here go Bryn again making it about herself. She's like, oh, well, if that was me, I would have got the wrath. Well, it wasn't. It's Jenna Lyons. I think she low-key has it out for Jenna because the group just has this admiration for her and maybe gives her more passes than Bryn gets. So the ladies continue to talk a little bit more shit, and then Bryn, she teases Jessel about not fucking her husband again, and that is where the episode ends. So we are at episode 6 next week, so here are my thoughts on the cast so far. Erin, I like her for the show. She brings the drama. She definitely calling bitches out. Jessel, like, she has good villain potential as well as Erin, and she calls shit out too. Sai, I like Sai. She has this fine line between being likable and annoying. Bryn, definitely necessary. She's kind of a star, like the standout. Jenna, I love her quirky energy. And we also need like the balanced person that's kind of friends with everybody. And last but not least, Uba, I think she's the only one in the cast who I think needs to step it up a bit. Like, you can't just be looking pretty and then pretending not to know, basic English words. Like, I need you to jump into the mess, do something. You can't just be Chanel Ayan's cousin, but I got hope for her. Anywho, y'all let me know what y'all thought about this episode. Again, it was cute, nothing explosive. It looks like next week the drama really gonna turn up a bit, so I'm looking forward to it. Again, I don't give a fuck about the ratings because I'm enjoying this franchise a lot. With that, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all for the next episode. Bye.